What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm very excited to bring you guys this look. I'm doing this in a chatty get ready with me where I'm using project pan items, new items, items that I'm still testing out, the whole gamut. So definitely check out down below if you want to know specifically what product I put on in whatever sequence. I don't really talk about any of the makeup at all. I'm really just talking about updates in my life because there have been so many updates that have happened in my life, and I finally sat down to talk to you guys about them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the footage. Hey guys, so for today's video, I'm very excited to just do a get ready with me, and we're pretty close. Let me see if I can back her up a little bit. Maybe I need to back up as well, but yeah, so I'm not going to really talk about a lot of the makeup. I'm just going to have that down below, so in the event that you're interested, just check out down below, and let's get on into it. So I feel like every time I get on here, there's like a whole bunch of like realizations to be had, and there are a bunch of realizations to be had. So the last time I think I updated you guys, I still had a full-time job. I do not have a full-time job anymore. I worked for the government. I had a very stable job, very well-paying job for somebody in my position. At the time, I had one master's degree, one bachelor's degree, and of course, you know, high school diploma, all of that. And I was making a very nice living, honestly, from my job. Income, I had a salary paying job, I had sick leave, I had annual leave. It was a government job, so it was very easy for me to just say I'm out for like a couple of weeks if I put in the leave prior or whatever have you. I was able to keep my job throughout the pandemic, which was very nice. It helped me to stabilize myself for a lot of unknown elements that some other people did not have, but I was unhappy. I was so unhappy, and thankfully I am in the position where I can choose to leave my job when I am unhappy and go after what I really want. So that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. I decided to leave my government job, where I was being paid, 5 figures or something? I don't really know. Something to that effect. And I'm so happy I did. So I left my job, and I left it in what I thought was like the smartest way ever. So with my job, I of course gave a 2 weeks notice. I am not a Gen X, okay? I am a straight up millennial, so I give 2 weeks notice, and I actually work those last 2 weeks, unless there was an issue, which I think there was an issue like maybe one day in the last 2 weeks, but like I actually attended all of those times, and I was really good. So in my position, I helped to facilitate a lot of things at my old job, so I made sure to kind of prep for the missing of me in that position. So I actually put in so much work towards the end of my position that I made it so that the people who were filling in for me actually didn't have to really do anything for the next 3 months. So I made it so that there was enough product or stuff established and created and done that they did not have to do anything until literally 2023 January. So I was really happy about that. That really just shows you and me my work ethic. And honestly, I was just so bored. I was so bored. That position was so easy for me, and so it wasn't a hard thing for me to do that, but I was very appreciative that I was able to do that. Anyways, so I left that position thinking I was being so smart, right? So I had left right before I had to, and I made sure that like I kept as much sick leave and mainly annual leave, because that's the only thing that you really get bought out of. So I kept as much annual leave as I possibly could so that I could get that in literally a check. And what they don't tell you until you're about to leave your government positions is that that check that you'll get from your annual leave, first of all, won't come for about 6 to 8 weeks after you quit. That's something I feel like needs to be known. Regardless of where you work, who you work for, you need to know that you have to sit on whatever money you've saved for another 3 to 6 weeks unless you have a job immediately starting as soon as you leave your old one. Also, there is a huge tax on whatever money you think you're going to be getting. So I thought I was going to be getting X amount of money. I did not. I did not get that amount of money. It was comical, but really not, when I got my paycheck after all of the money or all of the hours that like I had saved up to like get that cash reward or whatever. And then I saw my paycheck and I was like, oh my good Lord, she was not playing. Now the HR person that I left with literally said, be prepared, it's heavily taxed. And I thought I knew what heavily taxed was until I got my paycheck. I did not know what heavily taxed is. I gotta find my concealer. Hold on. So yeah, I was heavily taxed on that, and that definitely put a stinker on what I thought was going to be a nice little payday coming to me. And I'm not gonna hold you up. I pride myself on being real on my channel, because who am I but myself, right? So I definitely spent quite a chunk of change in between those last 2 weeks, and honestly in between the period where I knew I was going to be getting the paycheck, because I genuinely thought I was going to be getting more money than I did. I did not. I didn't. And that's on me, and that's an error in my judgment and in my finances, and that's okay. You know, thankfully I have like a what's it called, like a fallback net, so I'm not too concerned. But like, come on sis. So that definitely did not come through as much as I thought. And because of my new adventure, that was a little bit more costly than it could have been. So what is my new adventure? I actually went back to school. Oh, I am one of those people that apparently can't get enough of school. So let me explain why I went back to school. I traditionally am trained in forensic anthropology. So if you don't know, that means that you basically are studying bones, and you literally, to an extent, depending on how much experience you have and how much education you have, you can look at a bone. You can tell what the bone is. You can tell maybe if there's any morphological features in it, and also like if there were any past injuries on that particular bone. So that's kind of a very brief synopsis of what my background was. I focused on forensic anthropology for a majority of my academic career post high school. So my undergraduate and then my first master's degree were all surrounding that field. Now I'm not gonna lie, my undergrad was literally in anthropology, whereas my first master's degree actually technically was not in forensic anthropology, but I just did my thesis all surrounding the field. So you know, you got to kind of take that into account. But yeah, it was so hard, especially I did do a video, I remember, talking about the fact that I really wanted to join the military, and then that didn't work out because of COVID. So my whole academic career post high school was all under the mindset that I was going to join the military. I was so sure that was going to happen. It was my destiny. I just felt like that was the perfect place for me. And I just really did not plan for working in civilian life. I'm not going to even hold you up at all. And so once COVID happened, and I actually, had COVID, I realized how underprepared I was. And that's crazy coming from somebody who always has a backup plan to my backup plan to my backup plan. I always have plans. That is something that I pride myself on. And I did not have a backup plan for what happens if I didn't get to join the military. And so I realized that flaw, and now I'm sort of correcting it. So I am back in school. I am getting yet another master's degree, but I'm so appreciative and so excited about this particular degree. With this degree, I can pretty much do anything within the field of forensics, which I am so excited about, and the program is so nice. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely some flaws in the program with the organization and maybe even some of the classes I don't particularly enjoy or think are really prudent to the degree program that I'm in, but I am doing my best to kind of get through each class as any student would do when they're in a program, you know. So I'm very appreciative to have been offered this opportunity to be in this degree program, because it is a very competitive program. And I'm also just very appreciative to my particular my particular privileges, right? So there's so many people who maybe were in a similar boat to me, where they had planned something for their whole life. They had planned to do X, and then something happened and royally messed up their opportunity to do whatever it was they planned to do. And they didn't have the fallback ability that I do. They didn't have the ability to quit a perfectly good full-time position to kind of do whatever it is that they wanted to do. I have that opportunity, and I'm eternally grateful for having that privilege, having that opportunity, and I try my absolute best to acknowledge that and also to take advantage of it in the best way and not in like a more manipulative way that some people honestly do. So yeah, I'm in this program, and with this program, I have so many options. I know quite a few people commented on that one Get Ready With Me that I was talking about, you know, my interest in joining the military, and people were saying they have friends, family, whatever, that are actually in the military with asthma. And I think there's a level of differentiation that needs to be had. You can join certain branches and have certain jobs with that condition. That said, it was not the fact that I had at that moment the condition, because thankfully as of right now I am not on any inhalers and I don't find that I have any difficulty breathing or anything like that. It was at the point where I was having difficulty walking up the stairs and breathing and like not being out of breath. I was having difficulty walking and not being out of breath. That was my concern. I mean, granted, I felt like, you know, my whole world was shutting down, because the one thing that I had put so much effort into and I was so close was like being pulled away from me. Granted, yes, that definitely happened. But it was also the idea that like I was having difficulty doing everyday task, and that was not something that I was used to. And let's face it, my mental health was not where it needs to be. Granted, it's not where it needs to be now. I'm not gonna hold you up, but it's better, and every day I feel like I am improving for myself, for my family, for everybody that is around me. But you know, life has been difficult. It's been extremely difficult for me and my family these last couple of years. And I think for me, this diagnosis was just, honestly, it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And I just could not continue to be in a job that I was miserable in. It was an extremely easy job. I could do that job in my sleep, and I quite literally did. I was very little focused on that job. I was doing anything and everything in between, if we're being honest. But I was miserable. And one thing COVID taught me, whether for good or bad, is that you have to live every day as it's your last. Seize the moment. If you are happy, rejoice in it. If you're not, find a way to do it in whatever means it is that you have to kind of constrict yourself in. And like I said, this is where the play of me having that privilege really comes into handy, because I have a privilege where I have a fallback where if, God forbid, what I'm doing doesn't work out, which I truly don't think that's going to happen, but if it doesn't work out, I have a fallback, not only with my own dedication and my own work ethic, but also just thankfully with familial ties. Now, as I said, I am in school, but I'm not just doing school full-time, mind you. I am also doing work study. And if you don't know what work study is basically just a job. Depending on the department and their needs, you get a certain amount of hours maximum that you can work per week, and you get paid for it. And what I enjoy about my particular work study, and from what I can tell a lot of other people's work study, is that you don't have hours that you have to work, other than, of course, between the hours that whatever your organization or your department is actually open. So that's all my constraints. So I can switch around my hours that I'm going to be in the office every week. And that has been very, very helpful with my class schedule, because my schedule right now is not very consistent. It very much fluctuates between day, week, month, everything. And so it has been very, very helpful to have the work study. I also know that I have a certain amount of money just straight up coming to me as long as I attend my work study. And of course, I'm doing the actual job that they require of me, and I'm actually enjoying it. I'm getting to see a different aspect of academia that I don't think I would have ever seen had I not joined the particular department that I joined. So I'm very, very happy about that. But that's not all. That's not all. So we're up to 2 things that I've talked about. I'm doing my full-time schooling and work study. I also now have a part-time job. Now, thankfully, it is only seasonal, so that I can really see if this is something that I can juggle with this degree, and also, continue to bring in some money. But yeah, I have a full-time or a part-time job. So that requires me to coordinate with that employer when I'm available, when I'm not available, and of course that is a retail job. So that is quite interesting. This is actually my first retail job. I've literally never had a retail job, which from what I can tell is quite unique. But I went straight from working in college on my college campus to working at a country club to a government position. So I wouldn't say had the opportunity, because I definitely had the opportunity, but I never needed to work in a retail environment. And it's very, very interesting so far. It's very new though, so I don't really have too many things to say about that. So I'm now up to 3 things. Full-time school, part-time-ish work study, and then part-time in my retail position. I am also doing my YouTube channel, so I'm trying to push out 3 videos a week. And what, if you're not a creator, you may not understand, is that for every minute that you see for a video, so let's say a video is 30 minutes, it takes at minimum 30 minutes to edit, upload, schedule, create your thumbnail, create your description box, all of that for that video. For me, depending on if I am trying to multitask, it can take upwards of twice the length of the time for the video for me to get it done. So this takes quite a bit of time. And if we're being honest, we're pretty much up to 2 full-time positions that I am juggling if we add everything together between actual school, my work study, my part-time job, and this. And that's not all. That is not all that I'm doing. I am also a marketing and web development for a family member's business, and so I try to really focus that aspect of my life to weekends that I'm not overly stressed, i.e. not final exam or just exam weekends, which right now is an exam weekend and a final exam weekend. So one of the craziest parts of this degree, I feel so far, is that one of my classes is literally ending this week. It is ending this week. So I've had to cram so much information in so quickly, and it's been exhausting. It has been so exhausting. And that's only on the tip of like the actual learning of the information, not the commute, which I completely underestimated the commute and how that would tire me out, but it has drastically tired me out. I haven't been to the gym, I don't even think, since school started. And so my degree program started in late August, early September. So it has been some time since I've been to the gym, and it has been nothing that I necessarily was excited to miss. I've been so tired that I just could not wake up at whatever time it is that I'm used to waking up, which is like 5-6 a.m. To hit the gym before I go to school. So there's just been so much going on in my personal life. And like I like to say, this is definitely excluding family things that are going on, and I never really feel comfortable talking about those things, to be quite honest, because they're not my things to talk about. Yes, I'm going through them, but it's not my situation to explain. It's not my situation to talk about, and I never will do that. That's just not me. So yeah, regardless, it has been a lot of juggling. And let's see, did I miss some things? Yes, I'm also doing a self-defense class at my school, which has been really nice. I'm not going to even hold you up. I'm very happy that I signed up for that class. It started off slow. Not going to hold you up. It definitely started off slow, but we are now in, I want to say, the third week. We're in the third week. We finished the third week. We're going into we finished the second week. We're going into the third week, and we're now in the thick of things, right? So we're starting to actually do like particular movements and like mechanisms to kind of defend yourself. And I am very much enjoying these classes. It is kind of time consuming, and also is kind of hard to stay on campus for the time that I signed up for, but I also am very happy that I did it. I think it will be beneficial in the end for me to just have this in my back pocket. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say that I'm that person that like can't defend themselves, but having particular movements, particular exercises that I train and am used to doing, so that in the moment, if I ever have to go through it, I can just kind of implement them. That's where I think this program really shines. And they also really teach you kind of where to aim with particular movements and why you're doing it and like what scenario it will really work for. So very excited to be doing that. I'm also doing Are you tired? I'm tired of talking. I'm also doing, what is it? It's like a thing with my university where basically I can get like a special cord for when I graduate, and it's virtual, which thank the goodness, because I just don't have any extra time to be doing something in person right now. And it also is like on your own time, which once again, thank goodness. So this is just like the cusp, okay? It's just the cusp of things that I am currently doing. And so this is why when I say life is busy right now and I genuinely don't know when I will be able to upload, I genuinely don't know when I'm going to be able to upload. Because at the end of the day, as much as I love uploading, talking to you guys about makeup, this isn't my job. It's not my job. This is just a hobby. It's just a pastime. It's something that I get enjoyment out of doing. And so it doesn't make sense for me to kind of prioritize this over, quite frankly, any of the other things that I talked about, because those I get paid, maybe not regularly, maybe not to what extent I'm used to with my old job, but I get paid. And so that kind of has to take priority. Now, I'm not going to hold you up. In my YouTube channel right now, I've hit 1K, which I'm sure you guys know by now. I've already had my giveaway opened and closed. The person already received their product, all of that stuff. And so on YouTube, once you hit 1K, you can start monetizing your content. And I did. I'm not going to hold you up at all. I did start monetizing my content. I started from whatever the first video that I posted after I hit 1K. And then from then on, I have been monetizing my content. I don't think it would be right for me to go back and monetize everything on my channel. So I'm just not going to. And I also don't have the time to sit there and click all the buttons necessary to do all of that. So I'm good. But I also, you have to do some things in the back end, and unfortunately I have not been able to do some of those things in the back end. So technically my channel is not, I'm not making any money because I haven't received any money yet. Not mad about it, just a fact that I want to kind of open up the floor with, if you will. And with that thought in mind, you have to understand, right, that I'm spending the money that I saved to basically buy for my YouTube channel. Now, I would never sit here and say that you guys are making me buy this. No ma'am, no Pam. I'm choosing to buy whatever I buy, even if it's something that like you guys ask me to pick up. If it's not something of interest to me, I'm not buying it. It's just not in my forte to do that, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you guys. I have to somewhat enjoy or be interested in the product to pick it up myself. But I have been buying quite a bit for the amount that I saved up, and so I need to slow down. I need to slow down because it's not feasible for me to keep this going with the little bit that I'm bringing in from, you know, my part-time job, my work study, all of that, which quite honestly are going towards my student loans, because student loans are expensive and the interest is insane. So, you know, it's making me really, really think about what is necessary and what is not. You know, I think that is organic and very, very natural thing that I'm sure a lot of people think about, but it's interesting. It's so interesting, and I would love to hear kind of where you guys are at with your financial journey, whether it's makeup invested or not, even if like you're still going in on your makeup because of stress or just like you just are balling that way. I would love to hear how you're doing. I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I go through spurts, and I'm not going to pretend that I do not stress buy, because that is something that I have adamantly stated I do, and it's factual, right? I do stress buy. I do it all the time, whether it's stress from my own self or stress because of a family situation or whatever have you. I stress purchase all the time. And so right now, that's what's happened. And I also feel like I am, to an extent, actually overexerting myself, kind of, because I have so much that I want to do, so much I want to present to you guys, show to you guys, all of that. And I can't do it because I bought everything under the sun, and it's just not feasible. It's just not feasible, not with my schedule, not with all the things that I'm juggling. And at the end of the day, school comes first, because this degree will help me to find my career. It'll help me. And I'm so excited to find my career, find the thing that I truly love and enjoy, because I always thought that I would already be in my career by now. If you talk to high school Blake, I would have said that I would already be in the Marine Corps, just making my way to a particular unit that I want to be in. And clearly that's not what happened. So it's so interesting how life changes and how you have to change with it, to be honest. And I'm not mad at how my life has changed and how things have not really gone according to plan, because I think at the end of the day, God's plan always works out, whether you were expecting whatever happened or whether you weren't. But it's been a juggling act. It has been a definite juggling act to just move forward in the day. And with some of the things that have been going on in my family, if we're being honest, it has been sort of a juggling act to wake up every day. I would never say that I'm depressed, because I don't think that that is factual, but I've had some very sad days lately. Some very sad days, and it has nothing to do with my degree program, although this one class is but it has everything to do with some of the things that are going on. It's very sad to see and be a part of some of these situations, and to realize that life is real. Like, it will put you on your butt and it will challenge you. God will challenge you to see if you will make or break. And it's so hard when He's maybe not only just challenging you, but challenging somebody in your family. And you can't do anything to help them, because at the end of the day, it's their challenge. It's hard. It's so hard. And it's been a challenge. It's been a whole challenge. Goodness gracious. At the end of the day, I'm so happy with the choices that I've made. Maybe not financially, but with the decision to quit my job, I'm just so much happier. It is definitely a challenging degree program, and for that I'm so thankful. Who would want like a challenge or a very easy program? I want my program to be challenging, to be difficult, to be intriguing, to make me think. So I'm very happy about that. But good gracious, I could use some more money. And I think this brings me to kind of my last point, if you will. Who knows, I might ramble on some more. But one thing that I would love, and I'm sure a lot of YouTubers kind of have this mindset, is that I would love for my channel to just sustain itself financially. I don't need to make any money from it. No ma'am, no Pam. But I would love if like my AdSense literally pays for all of the makeup that I buy in a respective in a respective month. Now, I have absolutely no idea how big I would have to be to like have that actually happen. And I'm not going to sit here and say that once I hit that mark, I'm done. I don't want to have any more goals. But I think this is just kind of like my latest and newest goal since I did hit 1K. I'm so appreciative the fact that I hit 1K, and it's so interesting seeing people finding my channel and they're like, oh, I never heard of somebody doing this. I'm so thankful that I found your channel. And I'm like, I'm thankful you found me too. I'm happy that my channel is helping you, and let's rock together. Like, for real, let's just rock together, groove together, have fun together. And even if you never shop through any of my links, if you literally literally just take the time to watch my videos. That's it. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I ever ask for. And that's perfectly fine for me. I just want to continue to have fun and play with makeup, be reasonable with my purchasing, if at all possible, and just be helpful to you guys. Honestly, just be super, super helpful. But in the same time, also remember that, like, I can't just sit here for hours on end like you see these full-time YouTubers doing, although I would love to, and film content. I don't have that time, and it's not feasible for me. It really isn't. But I think that's rambling on, and I think that's kind of it for today's video. I think I'm gonna throw on some lashes really quickly just to kind of finalize the look. And like I said, just check out down below if you're interested in what's on my face. Very interesting. Some of the things worked out, some of the things did not. I tried, I'll tell you guys this, I did definitely try the Sugar Drizzle palette for the first time, and it's intriguing. This shade did not work out as much as I thought it would. So yeah, I mean, life is crazy busy, and honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. I thrive on busyness, and I'm so appreciative that I'm able to get so many things done at one time, whether it's multitasking in the moment or whether it's just completing multiple things at once throughout a longer period of time. So I'm not mad at it at any means, so please don't consider me mad or kind of overwhelmed. I am a little bit overwhelmed, I'm not gonna hold you up, but like literally I always find myself in these situations because I can't not work. And seeing as I'm not in a full-time position, I feel like I need to have so many things going on to feel like I'm doing something good. You know, I'm accomplished something. I'm doing something towards my goals, towards what I would like to be in a year, in 2 months, in 3 months, whatever. And so one thing that I would really like to do in these last couple of months of 2022 is really just get back in the gym. It was something that I was doing regularly for a good 6-8 months, and then, you know, COVID happened, and then life circumstances happened, quitting my job, going back to school happened, and so I've been in like this weird hiatus where sometimes I'll work out in my room, at home, whatever, in the neighborhood, but I'm not actually in the gym. And don't get me wrong, something is definitely better than nothing, but I thrive off of those endorphins of just going to the gym, forcing myself to leave the house and like work out, see other people, see my gym girlfriend, because she's always on me, texting me like, how you doing, sis? Are you okay? What's going on? And so yeah, I just want to have some fun again at the gym and relax while I'm going through all of my craziness that I'm going through, because I'm always going through a whole kit and caboodle. But I'm sure I missed some things. I'm sure I forgot to talk about a whole bunch of things, and I'll talk about them eventually in another Get Ready With Me. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys the big overarching, I'm no longer working a full-time job, and I'm back in school type situation. So I would love to hear any new updates in your personal life. If you feel like sharing it, just feel free to comment down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video, which I'm sure is going to be soon. Bye guys.